Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. So some great news that I just had to make a video about here on my second channel, and that is that Caris Levert is now doing 5-on-5 drills in team practices and is expected to be back before the All-Star break. So we had a horrible injury earlier this year, and before that was really playing some great basketball. And I fully believe that if he would have played the entire season up to this point, that he could have even possibly been an All-Star this season, guys. Yes, Caris Levert is playing that kind of basketball, and it's so cool that he's going to be back, because I know a lot of people were very upset when down with injury, me included. So yeah, for today's video, I just kind of want to see what the Brooklyn Nets are going to be getting with Caris Levert back on this team. So let me go ahead and make myself a little bit smaller here real quick so you guys can actually see the screen. On this season, the Brooklyn Nets are 28-26, playing some great basketball. I gotta assume they're in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure, because the Eastern Conference is pretty weak out there. It's not extremely weak, but still, that's gotta be good for a playoff spot. They are 6th in the Eastern Conference. Of course, a few L's out there, a little losing streak can definitely change things there. But at the same time, a nice winning streak can knock you up a few spots also. Maybe. We'll see how the Pacers do without Victor Oladipo. But yeah, the player stats. So we got Caris Levert on this NBA season up to the point that he was playing second leading scorer of the team. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, about 1 to 2 steals out there. The thing I do like too is that his field goal percentage is at 48%. So playing that shooting guard spot, very efficient. Really the one downfall is that his 3-point shot at about 4 attempts per game. He's shooting 31%. So there's guys in the NBA that can get away with that. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo being one of them. He's just so strong on the inside that it doesn't matter that he can't shoot threes. But I feel like Caris Levert, playing a guard position, I feel like that jump shot's so important these days. And if he doesn't, get that, I mean, it's not bad. 31%'s fine. It's fine. That's all it is. But you want to get him around that 34, 35, 36 range to really have teams respect him out there, because he's such a great playmaker. He's absolutely fantastic. Getting his teammates involved, he's great at getting to the basket, just knock down different, floaters and things along those lines. So if he can open up that part of his game, it's going to open up the rest of it for him even more. And that's where you really see the big spike in his production. I don't know how many games he's actually played this season. He's at about 30 minutes per game. So let's go to, games started or games played. I feel like it should. Yeah, so he only played about 14 games. We're now 50 plus games. Yeah, 53 games into the NBA season right here. So it is a small sample size. But I don't know, man. I think it's pretty big time for the Brooklyn Nets, who are, I don't want to say fighting for a playoff spot, but are looking to, maybe be a team out there that is a little respected among other teams when it comes to the playoffs. People saying, I don't want to really play this team out there in the first round. So let's go ahead and go to the roster real quick here. How exactly does he fit into the lineup? Well, I mean, I think Spencer Dinwiddie probably continues to come off the bench. At least as far as I know, he's been coming off the bench on the season. I don't know if that's still the case or not. I would assume so, because him and D'Lo in the backcourt just seems a little sloppy, not the greatest idea. So I assume Dinwiddie continues to come off the bench. Caris Levert goes to shooting guard. Joe Harris probably stays at small forward at 6'6", although you can almost argue to put Joe at the 2 spot and Caris Levert at the 3 spot. So I'm sure that it doesn't really matter all that much. I mean, it's going to come down to defensive matchups and things along those lines. Still got Jarrett Allen on the team. Their bench unit, I think, is pretty damn solid, guys. Yeah, Ed Davis, one of the best rebounding guys in the entire NBA. Off the bench, I think he's the leading rebounder in that department. Shabazz Napier, I don't really know what he's been doing this season, but probably some decent scoring. Yeah, 10 points, 2 assists. Not bad for a combo guard. You got DeMarre Carroll, who's typically a good defender, also averaging 11 points. So, you got this Rodion Kurucs. I probably said that all wrong. Hey, nice numbers, man. 9 points. Now, somebody's probably going to fall off the rotation in this case. Not quite sure who. But regardless, I think it's going to work out pretty nicely for the Nets right here. So, right now, they got D'Lo, Levert. They got DeMarre Carroll. I do think that I'm going to look to go Joe Harris there just for a little spacing. I mean, that's what Joe Harris does, is shoots threes. Got Rondae Hollis Jefferson at the 4 spot. I still think that can probably be improved, maybe via a trade before the trade deadline, but we'll see how committed they are to doing that. Kurucs probably falls out of the rotation because somebody has to. And I think DeMarre Carroll, being more of a veteran at this point, probably helps this team out a bit more. But yeah, so let's get the minutes here all lined up just to make sure it's all looking good. And I do want to get Caris at about 31 minutes. I don't want to go too much with it just because of his injury history. Joe Harris at about 30 minutes a game himself. Jarrett Allen at about 31. Then we'll go Rondae Hollis Jefferson at about 26 minutes per game. And, that's all subject to change. As far as this for proficiency, they got defense with Kenny Atkinson. I don't really think that's this team's forte. D'Lo doesn't strike me as some elite defender. Caris Levert has potential to be that, just based off his body and things like that. But I don't know, man. And then you got like Joe Harris, he's a 3-point shooter. So I'm gonna say that balanced system, not bad. Grit and grind. Let's go with a nice balanced system, and hopefully that works out. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and simulate this season. I'm very curious how this team actually ends up doing. Over on the main channel, they already trying to get him away from me, man. They already trying to trade for him. We're not all about that. But no, over on my main channel, Crispy Flakes, once he actually plays his first game, I am going to be doing an actual rebuild of him on the team and making trades, making all the right choices out there. When I do like these little NBA talk videos, I don't typically like to make big time moves. Even when I do like my rebuilds in certain circumstances, the first season I try not to do too many things out there, unless it's like a fantasy rebuild, just because you don't want, you know, we all want to see how the team's going to perform based off the current realistic circumstances. You know, GM Crispy Flakes goes on there and things change, of course, right? So, yeah, the only issue with Caris Levert that I'm extremely worried about, though, is that I watched him a lot on Michigan. I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan, if you guys didn't know that. Although this season, I'm not going to lie, man, okay, I don't have cable TV right now. I've not watched a lot of Michigan basketball, and they're arguably having their best season of all time. So, I don't know. It's just that 2013, 2014 realm area when they had, like, Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway, Caris Levert, Nick Stauskas, Mitch McGary. That was my team, man. Oh, my God. I love that season so much. Those 2 seasons, actually. Because then after that season when they got to the championship, then Nick Stauskas came along and started balling down. Was like the leader of the team out there. So, yeah, Caris Levert, though, had a ton of injuries. Even his final season at Michigan missed the majority of it with the foot injury. So I don't know if that's just going to be a lingering issue with him. It very well could be, man. He's not really, like, built as, like, this big muscular dude. Although, he has put on some muscle since college. One more game against the Miami Heat. Yeah, team's going roughly 42-40 at the, based off this. I still think they can be around, like, a 46-win team. But I think that sounds about right. I don't expect to see any awards here for our players. And I'm also kind of curious how this is going to affect D'Lo, because D'Lo is a guy that likes the ball in his hands. I mean, come on, man, he's got ice in his veins. So Caris Levert operates the same way. He's almost like a point guard that plays the shooting guard position. I know he's 6'7" and stuff. But that's where we are these days in the NBA. So I just don't know how that's all going to work out. Got the Brooklyn Nets finishing 6th, which feels about right. That feels about right. Let's check out how everybody did on the season. So we do got D'Lo still at 21.7 assists, so not any big, I guess, delay or fall to his stat line out there. And then we got Levert at 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, which is about what I expect. Let's go ahead and go to the split stats and see how he actually played after the All-Star break. So since All-Star break, before that he was at 17 points. That was early on the season, the first 14 games. Now you get the since the All-Star break, about the last, I don't know, like third of the NBA season, if that. 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. But it's going to take him time to get his legs back under him, just because those lower body injuries, I mean, you can't do no cardio or anything like that, man, because if you are, you risk of a additional injury to yourself. So I'm sure he was probably laid up eating some Krispy Kremes and stuff like that. Nah, probably not. Hopefully he was doing like some upper body workouts and stuff like that, and just working on nutrition and getting better and things like that. But yeah, playoffs, like, I think about the Boston Celtics, I would not expect them to beat the Boston Celtics. I think the Brooklyn Nets are in a very good place. I think that they are going to be very solid for a long time. And that's without having any draft picks. That's what I respect the most about this team, that we were all completely trashing on the Brooklyn Nets just for, you know, trading away all their draft picks. And it was stupid. It was a stupid choice. The owner of the team, the GM of the team, should be ashamed of that. I mean, they traded away so much of their future for an old-ass Kevin Garnett, and was it Paul Pierce and Jason Terry and Darren Williams, and just all these guys that were has-beens at that point. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it gets to a point where an NBA All-Star or a superstar is no longer an All-Star or a superstar. They're just role players or decent players or guys that should be like 4th or 5th options on championship teams. It almost seems like this Brooklyn Nets team at that time, they were trying to cheat the system. They were trying to cheat the system, go out there and you know, take away the Boston Celtics, kind of like what they were doing out there. And the Celtics, props them for that, man. They knew exactly when to get out. The Celtics, they were like, all right, man, we're going to take this trip. We got our championship out of the Big Three, so we're going to move on from right there. Let's go ahead and see who wins the rest of the championship here. So the fact that the Brooklyn Nets were able to turn this team into D'Angelo Russell, Caris Levert, Spencer Dinwiddie, which the Pistons were so stupid for giving up on that guy so early. He could have been their starting point guard for many years to come, man. Like, Spencer Dinwiddie, I think he's the real deal. And the only reason Spencer Dinwiddie was not, like, what was not like drafted earlier is because when he went to college in Colorado, he was supposed to be a lottery pick. That was his projection, guys. Like, you might even say he was projected to be one of the top point guard picks. He also had some injuries. I think he tore his ACL or MCL or one of the CLs out there and ended up getting injured. So he came back, was no longer the same player, but still good. It's like he wasn't quite where he was once. But now it seems like he's getting healthy again and he's starting to break out as one of the more up-and-coming players in the NBA. I mean, I know people talk about Spencer Dinwiddie as the most improved player, which I don't argue against. I mean, or even sixth man there, you can even say that. But yeah, I know this wasn't so much a Caris Levert video. It was more so a Brooklyn Nets breakdown video and just my thoughts on the team. But I don't know. I thought it was worth making. It's the second channel, right? You know, second channel, we just screw around over here. We just make whatever we want, right, guys? So, hope you all enjoyed this video. I definitely want to do some more NBA talks like this over here just because it's really cool just being able to use 2K and not to worry about rebuilding, just making a video, right? Just talking about some basketball. So yeah, hope you all drop that like, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and peace out, my friends.